Good afternoon, or we're approaching good evening now. I'm going to go through all of my checks as normal. Yeah, you can see something in the vise. In the scroll saw. We'll explain what that is now. Just check that we've got sound. I'm going to go through. Yeah, you may hear a bit of background noise. That's my brother out with this. Just some stuff going on in the background there. So, right, this one here is it's going to be basically a tea light holder stand. That's what that's ultimately going to be, and we're going to start off by doing that internal cut. So that's going to be the first part of the process. And after that, we've got a few other little pieces to be done. And if I get time, then I have got round here. Yeah, there it is. There we are. We've got a coaster, a cat coaster that we're going to be cutting out as well. So those are the things we're going to have a little look at today. Let's get straight into it and let's start doing a little bit of cutting on the scroll saw. Later today, because the workshop now, we're busy most Mondays up until 4 o'clock with people in the workshop, and then on top of that, our Windows computer decided to do a big update. Thanks to that Windows, great timing as always. And on top of that, then when I wanted to go on my account, Google decided it wanted to verify that I am who I am. So thanks for that, Google. So there we are. We're going to get into it and do some cutting out. So there you have it. That is our first little cut, that pierce work, that internal cut. I've been doing quite a bit of cutting out actually on the scroll saw today. So this is a bit of an older blade now, a bit of a worn blade. Now just as I come out of there, I check the pierce work. Something I always do is to just check the cleanness of the cut. Needs a little bit of work on it. So what I'm going to do is just going to go back over that one there. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut the surrounds. One of the layers I'm going to cut in half. So I'm going to separate the two layers away from each other and then I will cut that one layer in half, and that'll be ready then to sort of glue it back together. The idea with what we've got here, we've almost got like a tulip type shape, so that's the idea behind it. So we clean up that one, internal cuts, and then we will cut out the surround on that one there. There we go.
I discovered a little tip on that as well.
Okay, Thomas Woodcarver's here. Yeah, what was the little tip?
Good evening, everyone. Make sure,
Yeah.
you know, we sharpen the planer now, that the wood is flat and
Oh yeah, always we
equal.
always make sure. Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
one that I put one through,
Yeah.
which I can show you the one I put through.
Yeah, we always try our best to make sure that the wood sits nice and flatly on the bed
It was an oak one
of
with
the scroll saw.
I'll see if I can find it for you, Dave.
There was one piece that was quite badly shaped, so that's what
I
happens.
split it now. I got the two pieces.
There we are. I've tidied up this one just while Thomas the Woodcarver's having a little look, and then I'll start cutting this around.
Here it is. Here it is. It was those two, Dave.
Okay. Not a splitting so everyone can see.
Sorry?
There we
it
are.
was those two, and it wasn't quite. It wasn't absolutely.
Flat.
No, and it wasn't even. You know, it was higher that side than that. You know, it was thicker.
Yeah, yeah.
One side than the other. So you know, it's important to.
Worth planing up your wood before.
Yeah. To exaggerate it, look, you could show that. You know.
Yeah.
That's exaggerating it, that is.
That's it. Right, so we've just taken that whisker off, and now we're going to cut the surround. Okay, so we've got a little bit of super glue left over. That's just joining the two layers together. Let's see if we can find a way of just prising it apart, because that's the method that we use, is just to use a little dot of super glue in the four corners, and then afterwards, if it does get stuck together, what we do, we get a chisel and we just try and slide it in. Let's find a better place. I don't want to slide it in from the top if I can avoid it, because it'd be too easy to break it. Let's just have a little look. There we are. Normally I would do this on the bench using a chisel and a mallet. Let's have my mallet. Let's see if I can show you on the scroll saw. So the first thing, I just try and prise it open just a little bit, just to try and get a little bit of purchase. Let's get a little wedge or something at the top here. There we are. Just wedge that open just a little bit. Popping out. Let's get a better wedge. So yeah, in terms of the scroll sawing, then there we are. That little wedge like that, and then get a chisel in between, like so. Boom, there he goes. Just separate the two little layers. You can see just a little bit of coloured super glue joining it together. Now, hopefully, I'm going to check. There? No, he's not there at the moment. So, what I want him to do is to sand all of that nice and flat when he gets chance. And then I'm going to cut this one in half. We're then going to cut a few little pieces to go round the candle, and then a flat also that will be the top of our candle holder, so it will sit on top of the design just like so. So that's the next stage, is to split this one in half, to cut out these, and then to cut out this one here. So that's what I shall proceed with, is cutting that all out. Now I'm just pausing there. I'm just going to have a look to put the plate back on. So depending on the type of scroll sawing I do, depends on whether I want the plate in or out. So I'm just going to put that plate back on like so. Because I don't want those little pieces to drop down the hole, it's better to put the plate back in. Just also to pause and explain, anyone who's learning scroll sawing, basically I cut out that one first, because if I went and cut around the back there, I'd end up with a really small little piece of wood to try and cut out, really difficult to control. So that's why I'm going to cut that one first and then cut that one, is because it would be too difficult to control to cut out a really small piece. Really useful little tip doing it like that, especially if you're cutting out pendants. Quite often, necklaces, pendants, jewellery, things like that. I mark them out on larger pieces of wood so I can control it far better. some sanding.
Sanding, okay.
Thomas the woodcarver's back there, so I'm going to get him to do a little bit of sanding for me.
What you got there?
So we got those two need sanding down.
Just on the flats? Or I could do a bit
Yeah, just shaping them and rounding them off. That needs a bit of sanding, and that little piece there, so we can put it all together.
Do you want the white paper taken off or not?
Yeah, take all the white paper off, clean it up as if it's for a finish.
Okay.
Right, so we'll get that all tidied up. So you can see that one there, let's have a look. That took me all of 18 minutes to cut that one out. And when you see it, it's quite a nice project there. It's quite a nice little item.
What about the little bit of wood there, Dave? Have you done that?
Yeah, take it, as you got it, sand it all down to a finish.
No, a little bit that holds the...
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't got that though.
The two little pieces,
Yeah.
I've got them in my pocket.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. So, whilst Thomas Woodcarver's sanding that down, I'm going to cut out now these cat coasters. So we'll cut out the internal cut. So for any of you who are new to our live streams and to our videos, I always recommend doing the pierce work first of all. And we'll cut out that shape then of the cat, and then we'll cut the surround. I use a method a lot, you'll notice in my videos, of stack cutting. So I'll stack several layers together to give us our coaster or whatever we're working on. So it just allows us to be more efficient. As I warned at the start, this is quite a worn blade, so it wouldn't surprise me if it snaps, but all part of the demonstration, and I'll change that blade over once it's gone. But I'm going to get the maximum use I possibly can. So let's have a look. Let's cut out this cat shape. Okay, so before I put this plate back in, now it's better if I take that plate back out. The reason for that, as I'm cutting, the hope is that that block of wood that you cut away will drop down the hole and out of the way, allowing us to go about our scroll sawing more quickly and more efficiently. Remember as well, if you've got any questions as we're going through the process of anything that we do, any of the methods we use, feel free to ask us. It's always great if we can help anybody out. So we're going to start off by doing the 4 cuts around the outside of our design. And another thing, because we're a family workshop, because we're a business, we have to make sure that everything that we do, we have to be able to justify it in terms of what we can get back. And an item like this, if I make 3 at the same time, I can make on that. If I only cut 1 out at a time, I'm losing money for the the time I spend cutting out the cat.
How do you get on there?
Yeah,
All
fine.
good?
Yeah, a little.
Brilliant.
What I tell you could possibly do as well. Next time we do it, you could rethink about the design
Okay.
to fit a sanding machine.
Right.
The
Yeah.
curves. If
They
you
don't.
notice,
They don't quite
those
fit, do
curves-
they?
Well,
They're not
some
far
of them
off.
do, but some of them don't. So
Right.
it's only a little.
A little pointer to.
adaptation.
But that's the thing, is that what may not always come across in our videos is that as we are cutting a project, as we are making something, quite often it's the first sort of time, or the first. This is actually the second time that I've ever designed and made this item. I'm just seeing, is that on camera? Yeah, just about. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Could you do me another little favour, Did?
Yeah.
Could you grab us a little tea light so we can put this all together?
Okay.
You know, the tea light candles.
Yeah. If you look at the curve there,
Yeah. So
that
there
fits
we
the
are.
sanding machine.
So what Thomas Woodcarver is saying is that in terms of developing that design, our belt sander, that curve there on the Lovespoons is designed to fit the machine, as this curve hasn't been designed because I've been focusing on getting the design right for the scroll saw. And the idea, see, is that this one just sits, is it go that way round or that way round? I need to try and remember now.
One
I
of
think
them doesn't fit on the sanding machine, but it's a simple thing that.
so that goes on just like that. Right, so what we're going to do, brilliant, tea light, fantastic. Okay, so the star bond, where did I leave that in the end?
Starbond.
I left it at the back here. So what we do, we use Starbond super glue because they are kind enough to have offered us an affiliate, and so that's why we recommend them, and also it's because it does a great job for us. We were asked as well, somebody asked me if we stick to using that, if we sort of don't use wood glues. Yeah, we do use wood glues, but the thing with the Starbond super glues is quick. It's convenient, it does the job, and yeah, does a great job. I do believe as well, if you are thinking of making similar projects, if you're thinking of using it yourself, if you look in the link in the description of a lot of our videos, there's actually a 10% discount code. So if you do order from Starbond, if you use the code Lovespoon, using that link, they'll give you a 10% discount. So what I do, I use a little spray of the accelerant on the one part of the design. We then put some of the Starbond on the other parts. So like so, just a little bit on there where it's going to be touching, and also on here somewhere, wherever it's going to be touching there. And now is a little bit of judgment by eye, because we want to line it up to roughly go I want to roughly get it in the middle. So just got that a little bit wrong. In the middle there, and the middle there. I'm hoping we're roughly there. Looks pretty good. Just wait a moment for that just to set. Then turn it over. And I can't remember, did I squirt this with, looks like I've squirted it with Starbond, but just in case I haven't, another little squirt there, and another little squirt there. Great little project. If you're new to scroll sawing and you're looking for something nice to make, something decorative, I'll do my best. I need to update the, oh, that's clever, nearly gone on the wrong side. I need to update the website because I've designed a number of things and I haven't put new designs on there for a few weeks. So if I get a chance, I will update that website, and anything that you see us making on the channel, I do my best to get it up.
I got the shellac there for you there as well.
Brilliant.
Where should I put that? Just there?
Yeah, that'll be grand.
Okay, because you want to shellac it really, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you've got a flop.
One thing as well that I'm not going to put down the base because I don't want to get super glue on the base. One thing as well, this will have to go back in for a little bit of work.
Sand it flat, is it?
If you could sand that, I'm going to give it back to Thomas the Woodcarver, and if you could sand it flat, top and bottom. So what we're going to do, see, so that sits on there correctly, that needs sanding flat, top and bottom. So the top, we need to flatten it out so it sits on all four of the petals, I'll call them, of our
Clean the brush, just hold
shape,
it.
and then that needs flattening on the bottom as well. There we are. Right, whilst Thomas Woodcarver's doing that one there, as again, any questions about that process, get them into us. But a simple, nice little item that's straightforward to make. About 20 minutes to half an hour, I would say it takes to make a project like that one there. That's not including though selecting the wood, marking it out, designing it, and then also the hand finishing. But we'll put a coat of shellac on there in a minute for you all to see. I'm going to carry on cutting out our cats as well. Okay, that block of wood is just sticking in there. If that happens, you just as well stop the scroll saw, get that piece of wood out of the way so it doesn't go and spoil your cut. There we are. So that is just sticking in there. Just like so. I'm just going to knock that out using a screw, knock that out of place so we can carry on with it.
Okay,
Brilliant.
just check it.
Yeah, that's grand. Fantastic. There we are. So we'll have that ready now. And then in a minute we'll cut out and then we'll show you we'll cut that out and then we'll show you putting that one together. There we are. That's fantastic. Thanks, Dave.
Oh boys, oh boys.
So we've got a good basis there to work from. So we've got our shape all organised. And now we will proceed with doing our line art on the cat. So you feed that blade through. As I've pointed out, I've done this demonstration a couple of times before, and I've also got a video coming up on the channel that focuses on this specific thing. But what on the specific item of line art coasters, really popular here. That's why I'm making these today, is because I keep running out of them, keep selling them all, which is great. But there's a fair amount of cutting out on it. That's why I cut out 3 at a time. And then when it comes to marking out the lines, one little trick that I've learned myself and developed, over a period of time, is to drill that hole at what I would refer to as almost like a junction where lines meet. It makes it slightly easier to cover up where you're actually cutting out. So just a little technique that you could try out yourself. Just pause as well and just look a little bit at technique. One thing I'm always trying to do then, you're always sort of balancing it out, one hand wedging, one hand guiding, and then you've got to alternate it and things like that. Again, I've got an upcoming video where I talk about the different techniques that I use for cutting out. And it's something then, when we're using this method of stack cutting, this is mahogany that I'm cutting out in, and I find that mahogany is a particularly good wood for this. If I'm cutting out, for instance, a piece of oak, quite often if I'm stack cutting, I'll stack cut it with a piece of mahogany so it's not bouncing around, and I just find generally mahogany a really good wood when it comes to scroll sawing. Sometimes as well we have to adapt a little bit afterwards, the bottom layer. If for instance the drill hole is not perfectly straight, but again you can just adjust that as you need to after you've finished cutting the 3 out together. So that gives us the face of our cat. And so we just got to work on the body now. And for me then, the way I sort of got into this technique and developed this technique, there's another design here you can see where you've got the little dog holding a bone in its mouth using that line art technique. Yeah, the way I sort of got into this is because I was looking for how can I use the scroll saw to replicate some of the things that I do with the hand carving. And so that's where this sort of became a bigger part of what I do. The line art technique is to replicate the wood carving on a scroll saw. So now we're at the stage where we've cut everything out on the in terms of that line art and the basic profile. So we're going to cut out the surround, and then I'll also show you how we're going to put that one together as well. And that will hopefully show you how we get a few products out of what we're doing. we mentioned, we'd have a little bit of work on that bottom layer just to sharpen everything up, just to get a better finish on it. It shows up more on the back actually, where we've got a little bit of work on that bottom layer. The middle layer then, let's see if we can get that apart from, yeah, just like so. Yeah, the middle layer, pretty acceptable to be fair. Maybe a little bit of work on the nose, but other than that, that's a pretty good layer. And so you can see a simple little gift item. So we can do that little bit of work on the bottom layer just to finish it off more nicely. Maybe a little bit of work as well on the top and middle layer, just on the nose, just to tidy it all up. But now the layers are separate, we can see what needs doing. And then for this one here, we will get our star bonds, just like so. And we've got to judge where exactly we're going to position this one. Might actually go that way around. Yeah, so that would be positioned in there. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick this piece down, but I will demonstrate how we're going to finish this off, but I'm not going to stick it down the other parts, and I will explain why to you all. Basically, again, a little bit of star bond with the accelerant, and the reason I'm not going to stick the other bits down is because I want to get a better finish on the top. I want to get a nicer quality finish on it. Let's get a little bit more on here. And so if I was to stick the other bits down, I can't then put it on the belt sander and shape it a bit more. And that's what I want to do. So let's have a little look. Let's try and position it. So I will show you what I want to improve on. How are we looking there? Yeah, that's pretty good. So what I would like to do, there we are. So that gives us our finished item. In my pocket, I got the two little bits. So what I would do to finish it off from here, I put our tea light holder on like so. The two little pieces that you saw me cutting out earlier, I will position like so, and just like so. So I know where I want those to go. The reason that I don't want to do that yet is because I want to get a better finish on this piece here, and I also want to sand off these little edges as well. But that is how our finished tea light holder is going to go. So that's the idea behind that one. Again, I think I got a little bit of work to do just on the base as well, because I'd like to get that needs to come across a little bit, so we need to improve on that. So just little adjustments that will need to be made before we're happy with the finished products. But just to give you an idea then, you got 3 cat theme coasters and a tulip head themed candle tea light holder stands, and that's in just under an hour to get those 3 items. So hopefully that's interesting. If you've got any questions, get them in the comments section. Feel free to ask us any thoughts that you've got on what we've demonstrated. Hope you all have a great week. Thank you all for supporting our YouTube channel, and we'll be back on Wednesday with a video upload, Friday with a short, and then all going well, another live stream next week. But thank you all again.